Morning, it's Mike Montgomery here in the study. It's February the 2nd, 2017. Wanted to come back to you with a thought this morning of dealing with brothers and sisters in Christ, and it's been much on my mind here as of late. You know, the Bible tells us when our brother has offended us, when we know that our brother has done us wrong, the word is trespassed against us, we're to go to our brother. We're to make it right. When we know that our brother hath aught against us, in other words, they feel we've done them wrong, and we know that, we're to go to them and make it right. We're never called to just sit back and just let it work out. The only option we would have to not do anything is if we know that our brother has done us wrong and we refuse to deal with it. We must lay it down and forgive it and never bring it up again if you're going to do that. And I think the Corinthians talks about suffering yourself to be defrauded. In other words, you're just going to take the wrong they've done towards you and never bring the subject up. You're never going to deal with that subject. However, if you're going to carry grief or a frustration with that subject, you've got to go to that brother and make it right. But then how do you go to that brother and make it right? And you make it right in a way that would not just cause things to escalate more. In other words, you walk up to them and say, hey, you did me wrong the other day. What's your deal, man? I mean, and then you're in his face, he's in your face, and it escalates from there. It's not a Christian confrontation. It's an ungodly thing. And so just a couple of thoughts. I would say, first off, don't assume ill motives to begin with. You know, a lot of times what we do is somebody does us wrong, and we sit back and like, well, I know why they did that. I know exactly why that happened. Oh, yeah, I know how they think. And we make assumptions about their ill motives. We assume they have ill desires, they wish us ill. We assume the worst about it when somebody does us wrong. So don't assume ill motives. Give them the benefit of the doubt in that moment. Give them the opportunity and some room there. When you go to them, don't say, hey, you did me wrong and you owe me an apology. That's not the way to approach it. Maybe you come to them and say something along the lines of, you know, hey, I don't know if you realize this or not, but the other day when you said such and such, and then you explain to them what happened. And I'm sure you meant no ill by it, but I wanted to bring it to you because I didn't want the devil to get an advantage of my heart and me harbor unforgiveness toward you or bitterness towards you, because our fellowship means more than this situation we're talking about here. And so you lay it out in that way. I think it's also important that we don't focus on assigning blame, but on restoration. If the goal is to convince them that they are wrong, so in other words, you go and say, hey, I don't know if you meant to do this or not, and they say, no, I didn't mean to do that, and you're like, yes, you did too, and you know, we're all like incredulous. Yeah, you did. It's your fault. You know, the issue here is not to assign blame. The issue is to restore a brother or sister. The issue is for the glory of God to have preeminence in the way we deal with things. And so we're not really focusing on assigning blame so much as we are restoring the relationship. And then finally, remember, the goal is not to remove conflict from our life. And I think the mistake we make in all of our life is we want to remove all conflict. Husband and wives are at each other's throat, and so, oh, we've got to end this relationship. Church members are conflicting with other church members. Oh, I can't go to church there anymore. Pastors and people, oh, my word, they seem to be attacking me all the time. No, I can't be here anymore. The goal is not to avoid conflict. The goal is to allow conflict to cause us to grow into Christ-likeness. And so it's addressing conflict in a Christ-like way. Go to your brother.